Let's be real. Today, many women carry themselves like they're untouchable, and social media doesn't help. Followers hang on their every post, and far too many men sacrifice their self-respect just to get noticed. That combination fuels egos, and if you're not careful, it can run your relationships and crush your self-esteem. The reality is, modern women have plenty of options, but that doesn't mean you should give away your power or chase validation. Most men don't realize that their neediness is exactly what keeps them stuck, pursuing women who don't value them. Here's the key. You don't need to fight, manipulate, or disrespect her to flip the dynamic. You simply need to become the kind of man who can't be controlled, a man who is solid, centered, and unshakable. That's what disarms her ego, not by attacking it, but by showing her you're not one of the predictable, easily influenced men she's used to. When you stop overcompensating, stop trying to earn her approval, and become harder to read and impossible to dominate, everything changes. Suddenly, you're the one she wants to impress. This isn't about being cold. It's about being strategic. Respect isn't won by constantly proving yourself. It's earned through quiet strength, self-respect, and high standards. Here's the harsh truth. If you're always available, accommodating, or bending under pressure, she won't see you as a leader. But if you carry yourself like a man who doesn't beg, chase, or crumble, she will take notice. In this video, I break down 7 powerful strategies that completely flip the script. These aren't gimmicks. They're principles. Stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop trying to win her over with words. Shift your energy. Let your silence speak. And let your standards set the tone. When applied correctly, she won't just see you differently, she'll feel it. That's when the dynamic changes for good. Before we start the video, I want to remind you that my effective online course on mastering the dating game is available now. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course takes things to an entirely new level, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction. And you won't find this information in any video on my channel. It's available in both English and Spanish language, so you can learn in the language you feel most comfortable with. It's easy to access with a secure payment option. Visit thestoiccouple.podia.com or click the link in the description to enroll now and improve your dating life. Let's dive in. Sign number 1. Stop complimenting her too much. Every time you constantly tell a woman how beautiful she is, how amazing she is, how much she means to you, especially early on, you're feeding her ego. You're giving her the energy that most men already give her for free. And when you do what every other man does, you become just like every other man. Her value in her own mind keeps climbing, while your value in her eyes keeps dropping. This doesn't mean you should never compliment her. It means you need to stop making it your strategy. When a woman hears you say things like, "You're so beautiful," "You're everything I've ever wanted," or "I've never met someone like you," before she's even proven herself, she starts to think she's better than you. She starts to believe she's doing you a favor by giving you her time. That's how her ego grows. And when her ego is up, your influence is down. That's how the game works. She's not even listening to what you're saying. She's just storing all the attention you're giving her in her validation bank. And once that bank is full, she doesn't need you anymore. You've got to flip the script. Let her earn your words. Let her feel like getting a compliment from you is rare, special, and meaningful. The less you validate her with words, the more she starts to question what you're thinking, the more she starts working to get your attention. That's when the ego takes a hit, because now you're not playing into her fantasy where she's the center of your world. You're disrupting the story, and that makes you dangerous, in a good way. A woman doesn't fall for a man who tells her everything she wants to hear. She falls for the man who makes her feel like she still has work to do. The man who doesn't speak unless it means something. The man who knows his words carry weight. When she senses that she is not automatically adored, when she feels a little unsure about where she stands with you, her ego takes a step back. She stops thinking she's the prize, and she starts trying to prove that she's good enough for you. Here's the move. Next time she posts a selfie fishing for compliments, don't say a word. Next time she walks into the room expecting attention, act normal. Keep your energy solid. Make her feel like you're not impressed just because she looks good. And when you finally do give her a compliment, she'll remember it. It'll mean more. It'll hit harder. That's how you stop her ego from running the show, and that's how you start making her chase your approval instead of the other way around. Sign number 2, withdraw your attention. If there's one thing that slaps a woman's ego harder than words ever could, It's silence, real silence, the kind that isn't loud with emotions, not passive-aggressive, not bitter, just absence. When you withdraw your attention, you strip her of the power she thought she had over you. And that power was never physical. It was your focus, your energy, your presence. A woman's ego feeds off knowing that you're always there, always watching, always caring, always responding. The moment you stop giving her that attention, her sense of control begins to fade. Here's what men get wrong. Most of them talk too much when a woman acts up. They argue, explain, plead, or try to fix things by showing more love. They think more attention equals more results. It doesn't. It makes her feel more powerful. It confirms to her that no matter what she does, she still owns you. That keeps her ego inflated because your reaction gives her a mirror to see just how much power she has. You break that mirror by going cold, not rude, not angry, just cold. You don't chase, you don't call, you don't double text, you don't show up where she is. You let your silence answer every question she's not even asking yet. When a woman is used to you always being around and you suddenly disappear, not with drama but with purpose, she starts feeling a shift. That shift breaks her pattern. It makes her ego panic. She wonders if she pushed too far. She questions if someone else has your attention. She replays your last conversation, trying to figure out where it went wrong. All of this happens in her head without you saying a word. That's when the ego takes a hit, because an inflated ego doesn't like uncertainty. It hates the idea of losing control. Your attention was her safety net, and when it's gone, she starts to doubt herself. That doubt humbles her. It reminds her that she can't do whatever she wants and still keep you. It forces her to reevaluate the way she treats you. It makes her want to earn your presence back. And once she feels that shift, she'll start lowering her guard. She'll start reaching out. She'll start chasing. This doesn't mean you cut her off to punish her. It means you pull back to protect your value. A man who gives unlimited attention loses all leverage, but a man who can disappear when he's not respected gains power. That's a move she won't forget, and it doesn't just shrink her ego. It makes her feel your absence in a way that leaves a mark. She might not show it right away. She might act like she doesn't care, but deep down she feels it. That's the beauty of silence. It speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Sign number 3, never react to her games. One of the fastest ways a woman tests your strength is through emotional games. She'll ignore your texts, cancel plans last minute, flirt with other guys in front of you, act distant, just to see if you'll chase. These aren't accidents. They're designed to see what kind of man you really are. And most men fail that test. They get triggered, they react. They start asking questions, complaining, trying to fix things. That's exactly what her ego wants. Your emotional reaction is proof that she still controls the frame. But here's what separates men who win from men who lose in modern dating. The ones who win never react. They don't argue. They don't explain. They don't give emotional responses to emotional behavior. They observe, they adapt, and they move accordingly. Because the moment you react, you give her all your power. You show her that she can control your state of mind, and when she sees that, her ego goes through the roof. She feels like she's got you wrapped around her finger. That's not attractive. That's weak. You have to kill the need to prove your point. You have to stop trying to convince her to stop playing games. She knows what she's doing. She's not confused. She's calculating, and if you keep engaging with her emotional nonsense, you only feed the drama and increase her sense of control. The only move that works is indifference. Not fake indifference. Real calm, collected indifference that says, I'm not going to play your game because I don't have to. When you can do that, her ego takes a punch to the gut. This works because women expect men to respond emotionally. They expect you to argue, chase, ask, or prove. But when you hit her with silence, or when you respond with calm detachment, like her actions don't move you, she feels something she didn't expect. A loss of power. That's when the game flips. Her ego starts shrinking, not because you punished her, but because you didn't let her win. She didn't get the reaction, she didn't get the attention, she didn't get to control the narrative. That breaks her pattern, and now she has to come back differently. Picture this. She pulls one of her classic tricks. She cancels on you last minute with some weak excuse. Most guys would get angry, text her long paragraphs, or start begging for a new date, but you just say, cool. You don't follow up, you don't ask her when she's free next. You fall back. That calm, short, confident response tells her everything. It tells her you're not desperate, you're not hurt, and you don't need her. That hurts her ego more than any insult ever could. She'll replay it. She'll wonder why you didn't chase. And the moment she does that, her ego has already taken the hit. Control the frame, and you control the game. Sign number 4. Control your emotions. The man who controls his emotions controls the relationship. Simple. When a woman feels like she can make you angry, jealous, anxious, or insecure, she knows she owns you emotionally, and that power feeds her ego. The more you show your emotions every time she does something questionable, the more she feels validated. She doesn't even have to try anymore. You're handing her emotional leverage on a silver platter. Most men don't get this. They think being emotional is the same thing as being honest or transparent. No. Being emotional means you're being controlled. She says something slick, you raise your voice. She gives you a dry response, you start texting more. She goes quiet, you get nervous. That's not strength, that's emotional dependence. And once she senses that she can shake your frame, she will keep doing it, not because she's evil, but because it confirms to her that she has the upper hand. Her ego loves that. Now, let's flip it. A woman says something that's clearly meant to provoke you. Maybe it's a backhanded compliment. Maybe she mentions another guy's name one too many times. Most guys would instantly bite the bait, but not you. You keep your tone even. You don't raise your eyebrows. You don't shift your body language. You don't flinch. You let her words pass through like smoke. That's power. That's emotional control. And that's when her ego starts to feel tension, because she's not getting what she expected. A woman doesn't expect a man to be a robot, but when you stay composed, especially when she's trying to get a reaction, it makes her respect you. It confuses her ego, it humbles her, because suddenly, she's not sure how much influence she really has. That's when she starts rethinking the way she moves around you. She gets quieter, softer, more respectful. Not because you told her to, but because she feels your control. Here's the truth. Women respect emotional strength more than words. You could tell her you're confident, but if you act like a boy when things don't go your way, she sees the truth. Your emotions are your weakness if they're not controlled. You want to kill a woman's ego? Stay calm when she's expecting chaos. Be silent when she's trying to provoke. Walk away when she's trying to dominate. It doesn't make you cold. It makes you disciplined. And discipline is what separates you from every man she's used to. Practical example. She accuses you of not caring just because you're not blowing up her phone. Don't argue, don't defend, just say, that's how you feel? Okay. Then leave it. That pause, that peace, that emotional control, it forces her to reflect. It puts her ego in check because deep down, she knows she's not in charge of your emotions. And once she realizes that, the power starts shifting. Her ego lowers and her respect for you climbs. Sign number 5, let her feel replacement. Nothing crushes a woman's ego more than realizing she's not the only one. Not because you're trying to make her jealous, not because you're showing off other women, but because she starts to feel it deeply, that if she doesn't step up, someone else can and will. A woman's ego is fed by the belief that you're too attached, too loyal to her potential, too patient with her games. When she starts to believe she's irreplaceable, she becomes lazy, entitled, and disrespectful. That's when she stops trying. That's when she gets arrogant, and that's when you start losing your own value. But when you show her that you're not stuck on her, when she can feel that you have options, even if you never say it out loud, her ego cracks, because now she has to compete. She has to earn your attention again. Women are wired to value what other women value. If she starts to sense that you're the kind of man who can easily attract another woman, especially without effort or drama, she feels tension. That tension is the pressure that humbles her ego. Now, this isn't about parading new women around or being disrespectful. It's about moving like a man who doesn't wait around for games. You don't need to announce it. You just show it in your energy, your posture, your peace. You're not chasing. You're not emotionally stuck. You're enjoying your life, focused and open to women who treat you right. She sees that shift and it hits her hard because her ego expected you to wait. Her ego expected you to stay loyal no matter how she treated you. Let's say she pulls away, thinking you'll wait like every other guy, but instead of chasing her, you go quiet. You focus on your goals. You level up. You start dressing better, working out harder, moving differently. She sees the glow up. Maybe she sees you laughing with other women online or in person. Maybe she hears from a friend that you've been doing just fine, and now her stomach drops. Her ego can't handle the fact that you didn't break down over her absence. That realization that she's not as special as she thought brings humility fast. It creates doubt. What if I lost him for good? What if someone else already has his attention? That kind of insecurity humbles a woman's ego far more than any words you could say. You didn't try to make her jealous. You just moved like a man who can't be played with, and now the game flips. You see, women don't chase men they can manipulate. They chase men who are desired, calm, and emotionally controlled. If she thinks she can be replaced, she'll either rise to the occasion or step aside. Either way, her ego won't survive that pressure untouched. Let her feel it, not through noise, but through how you carry yourself. That's what makes her start chasing your validation again. Sign number 6. Never complain about her behavior. The moment you start complaining about a woman's behavior, you lose power. It might feel like you're just being honest, just expressing your needs, but what she hears is weakness. What she sees is a man trying to beg for better treatment, and that feeds her ego. When you complain, it tells her 2 things. 1, that you're affected by her actions, and 2, that you're not willing to walk away from her even when you're disrespected. That's a dangerous message to send. Look at how most men operate when a woman starts acting cold, disrespectful, or inconsistent. They start asking questions. Why are you being distant? Did I do something wrong? Why don't you treat me the way you used to? That right there is emotional dependence, and it tells her that she has full control of the dynamic. Her ego inflates because she knows you care more than she does, and instead of fixing her behavior, she doubles down. She pushes further, pulls away more, or just gives you enough to keep you hanging. You want to shut that down? Stop talking. Start moving. When a woman sees that her actions have no access to your emotional peace, she starts reflecting, not because you asked her to, but because you showed her with your silence and distance that you don't reward bad behavior with more attention. A man who doesn't complain is a man who can walk, and that's the kind of man women can't play with. Here's the key. Women already know when they're doing something wrong. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to list it out. She knows when she's pulling away, being dry, or acting disrespectful. If you have to explain it, you've already lost the upper hand. What makes her ego shrink is when you don't even bother to address it. You simply shift. You go cold. You become unavailable. You take back your energy without a word. Let's say she starts giving you attitude, or she ignores your messages for hours. Instead of texting her back paragraphs about how unfair that is, you respond with calm distance. You reply when you feel like it, or maybe not at all. You stop initiating, you stop making time, and when she finally asks what's wrong, you hit her with calm truth. I'm just matching energy. That quiet confidence will do more to reset her attitude than any argument ever could. Most women are used to men who beg, who explain, who emotionally vomit all their feelings in hopes she'll understand and change. But when she meets a man who doesn't say a word, who just fades into his purpose and refuses to reward nonsense, her ego takes a hit, because now she's not sure where she stands. That uncertainty makes her re-evaluate everything. That's how you gain control again, by never giving her the satisfaction of watching you beg for her to treat you better. Sign number 7. Give less attention. A woman's ego lives off attention. That's her fuel. It doesn't even matter if she likes you deeply or not. If you give her consistent attention, she starts to feel powerful. She starts to believe she owns your time, your energy, and your emotions. That's when she begins to test you, ignore you, and disrespect you, because you've made it too easy. You're always there. You always reply. You always show interest. That constant flow of attention makes her feel like she's the prize, and you're just grateful to have access to her. That dynamic feeds her ego every single day. Here's what men don't understand. When you give a woman too much attention, especially early on, she doesn't feel loved. She feels superior. She feels like she's in charge of the pace, the tone, and the direction of the relationship. And most importantly, she starts to feel like she has nothing left to chase. That's when the shift happens. She goes from being warm to cold, interested to indifferent. Why? Because your attention is no longer exciting. It's expected, and anything that's expected gets taken for granted. If you really want to reduce her ego, you have to control how much attention she gets from you. You don't need to ignore her completely, but you need to create space. Space where she can feel your absence. Space where she wonders what you're thinking, what you're doing, and who else might be catching your interest. That space is where her ego starts to shrink, because when she's not constantly being validated, she starts to reflect on her own behavior. Let's say you used to text her, "Good morning" every day. Now you stop. No explanation, no announcement, you just remove that attention. Suddenly she's questioning, why? Is he losing interest? Did I do something wrong? Is someone else getting his time? That confusion pokes at her ego. It forces her to confront the reality that your energy is not guaranteed. That's when she starts to chase. That's when she starts checking on you more, being sweeter, putting in effort because now she's no longer sure where she stands, and that humbles her. You also have to limit your availability. If you're always free, always answering immediately, always showing up whenever she calls, then you're not leading. You're orbiting her, and orbiting is weak. Strong men have priorities. They don't drop everything for a woman who hasn't earned their full focus. When she sees that you're busy, that your life is moving, that she's just one part of it and not the center, her ego deflates. Not because you're trying to hurt her, but because you're showing her that your world doesn't revolve around her. That's where respect begins. In the end, less attention equals more power. You don't win by doing the most. You win by doing less with purpose. Every second of attention you give should be valuable, not predictable. That's how you reduce her ego, by giving her just enough to keep her invested, but never so much that she feels untouchable. A woman's ego grows when she feels too secure, too adored, and too certain of your position in her life. But the moment you shift your energy, protect your attention, and stop rewarding bad behavior, everything changes. You take back the power, you remind her that you are not a man who chases approval, you are the approval. Reducing her ego isn't about playing games. It's about knowing your worth and acting like it. When she sees you can walk away without fear or neediness, that's when her ego shrinks and her respect for you grows. Stay in control. Stay grounded. See you in the next video. If you're ready to take your dating life to the next level, my full online course is waiting for you. It's packed with powerful strategies you won't find on YouTube, and it's available in English and Spanish. Click the link in the description and start mastering the game today.